Just remember, if you have a felony, firearms are your kryptonite because you can be looking at a 5-year mandatory minimum. And he's got criminal history. So this is a good deal for him. I admit I knowingly possessed 2 firearms during the filming, a Glock 21 45 caliber pistol and a Masterpiece Arms MPA 30T 9mm firearm. What did you guys say? What did some of you guys say? Oh, they're prop guns. They're prop guns. They're prop guns. No, they're not. They're fucking real guns. And it's a very rare play. You know, you don't see a lot of these. I've done one in 26 years. I had a case in Louisiana that I brought up to Minneapolis.
Do you know how many kids he has now? Can you take a guess?
7.
Higher.
More than 7?
Yep.
How many kids does he have now?
He's the father of 12 children.
12. He's got 12 kids. Well, I wasn't far off.
Do you want to know what his first son's name is?
What's his first son's name?
Draco.
Draco. Fuck. Draco.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And what he do? And he's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your very own personal board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Here today with news about NBA Youngboy, and we are gathered today with our content genius, Michael Rivers, who's behind the camera, behind the ideas, behind everything, and he's in front of the camera now. Michael, say hello to your people.
Hello, people. How are you doing?
All right, that's enough out of you. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
so, Michael, guess what? NBA Youngboy took a plea bargain, and I got the plea bargain in my hot little sticky fingers. But before we get to NBA Youngboy's plea bargain, this episode is brought to you by our local sponsor, eForms.com. eForms.com, a very effective way to avoid a high-priced lawyer and protect yourself in and out of court. Why do you need eForms.com? Well, if you buy something or sell something, or if you have you need a power of attorney, you need any kind of legal form, you go to eForms.com, because if you have it in writing, you can't argue with a written document. You get somebody to sign an agreement, guess what? They can't come back and say, I never signed the agreement. You got them in writing. eForms.com, a very effective way to protect your grandma who lives in your basement because she's always up to no good. Or you in your basement when you're, or wherever. Just eForms.com, a very effective way to avoid a high-priced lawyer and protect yourself. Okay, let's get right to it. Kentrell Deshawn Galden, a.k.a. Youngboy, a.k.a. Youngboy Never Broke Again, a.k.a. YB, a.k.a. NBA Youngboy. That's what it says on the indictment. Or not the indictment, but, you know, the caption of the case.
So many L's.
So, here's the deal. He is unbelievable. I mean, he's been on supervised release. How long has he been on supervised release, Michael? Or under pretrial release?
Oh, fuck. It's been years.
A long time.
Yeah.
And so he agreed to plead guilty to count 1 in the indictment, and he's got 2 cases, basically. He's got a felony information that basically is just a document, a charging document that doesn't go before a grand jury. And then he also has an indictment. So in the one case, he's got, he'll be getting 27 months of prison with no supervised release to follow. And in the second case, he'll be pleading guilty to that he'll get 60 months probation consecutive to the 27 months of imprisonment and with a $200,000 fine. Now, let's talk about, you know, what we're looking at here. What are we talking? Remember, you know, when he first got picked up, you know, he got picked up in Louisiana for a possession of firearms that were depicted in a video, right? And then why the hell is he pleading in Utah? How is that possible? Well, I'll tell you how that's possible. There's a thing called an 11C1C. That is a plea agreement that the judge is bound by, the prosecutor is bound by, and there's no argument. So he's going to get sentenced. There will be a plea agreement, and everybody's bound by it. And it's a very rare plea. You know, you don't see a lot of these. I've done one in 26 years. I had a case in Louisiana that I brought up to Minneapolis. And they brought it to Utah for NBA Youngboy's convenience and the convenience of his lawyers. But what is he pleading guilty to? Pray tell. So on September 28th in the Middle District of Louisiana, I knowingly possessed a firearm. More specifically, on that date, I was filming a music video in Baton Rouge. I admit I knowingly possessed 2 firearms during the filming, a Glock 21 45 caliber pistol and a Masterpiece Arms MPA 30T 9mm firearm. What did you guys say? What did some of you guys say? Oh, they're prop guns. They're prop guns. They're prop guns. No, they're not. They're fucking real guns. So, what else did he do? On April 16th, 2024, in the District of Utah, I knowingly possessed a firearm. Okay, you're on pretrial release. Yeah, I think he's been in custody ever since he got picked up again. More specifically, on that date, a search warrant was served at my residence in Huntsville, Utah. A 6-hour 9mm semi-automatic pistol was located in the master bedroom. I admit I knowingly possessed. Why the fuck did he have a firearm? There was no reason for him to have a firearm. Didn't he have armed guards? Wasn't that part of his whole pitch to the Louisiana judge? Oh, judge, you should let me out, and you should let me out because when you put me in my home, I will have armed guards there, and they will be making sure that I don't get out, and they'll make sure that I'm safe. But then he's got his own firearm, and so he's got 2 separate events. And I admit that on September 28th, and continuing through at least April 16, 2024, I knew I'd been convicted of a crime punishable by imprisonment for a term exceeding 1 year. So, if you're convicted of a felony, which is anything more than a year and a day is a felony, you cannot possess a firearm. These are kryptonite to you because you can be looking at a 5-year mandatory minimum. And he's got criminal history. So, this is a good deal for him because he's going to do 27 months. 27, you probably do about 20. Probably do about a year and a half, if that. But if he screws up, he could be looking at another 5 years. But here's the other thing. He's got some state charges that are hanging out there for trying to get, forging prescriptions. I just don't understand why you keep doing stupid shit when you're worth millions. So he's got to have to do a pre-sentence investigation. So that means he goes to probation and he tells them his history and talk about the offense, talk about everything. And then probation will come up with recommendations. But here's the thing. It's an 11C1C plea. That means regardless of what the recommendations are, the agreement is what it is. So he can't come in and argue for 20 months or 15 months. He can't argue for probation. He has to stick with what the agreement is. Same for the government. The government can't come in and then ask for something different. So, what if the judge doesn't like it? Well, the judges generally are not part of the plea agreement process, okay? So they're usually not bound by the plea agreement. So what does that mean? Could the judge blow it up? Sure, the judge could blow it up. But if the judge blows it up and says, I want to give you 29 months. Well, NBA Youngboy could then withdraw his plea. But why would you do that? For 2 months. But I don't think the judge is going to do that. Generally, if the judge takes the plea, the judge is going to accept the plea. And let's say the judge said, I think this is too harsh. I want to give him a lighter sentence. Well, then the government could blow it up. The government could withdraw from the agreement and they could start all over again. But this isn't going to be that easy of a road for him because he's still going to be on supervised release. Once he gets out of prison, he's going to have a 5-year term of probation. And that 5-year term of probation is going to include what? No firearms, no guns at all. What else is it going to include? Sobriety. You're going to have to probably go to treatment. You're going to have UAs. You're going to, and is he going to be able to, hopefully, how old is he now, Michael?
Let me check. I believe he's younger than me, so I'm 27.
But I bet he's like 24.
Let's look this up really quick. Born in 1999, he's 24. You had
24.
It right in the dot.
So he's 24 years old. Let's hope in the next couple of years he does his prison sentence and he figures, this isn't worth it. I'm just gonna go make music and fuck broads and have 80,000 children. You know, maybe he decides that's what he wants to do.
Wait.
And I'm not gonna play with guns because they're my kryptonite. I got armed guards. Anybody around me can have guns, but I'm gonna do whatever I can to stay out of prison.
Do you know how many kids he has now? Can you take a guess?
7.
Higher.
More than 7?
Yep.
How many kids does he have now?
He's the father of 12 children.
12. He's got 12 kids. Well, so I wasn't far off. and so he's got 12 kids. And how many women? See, guys like him are targets, honestly, and they don't really give a shit because they love to spread their seed. But 12 kids—that's a lot of kids. You know, I've seen it where I've got a client. He's doing real estate and he's out of the criminal element, but he was doing drugs a while back. I think he had 3 or 4 mothers of his children, but they all got along, and they would get together for Thanksgiving. I mean, Rod Stewart does the same thing. He's got, I think, 3 mothers of his children, and they all get together, you know, because the children have the dad. So I'm sure NBA Youngboy, when he has a holiday or some kind of experience, inviting all the children, the mothers will want to be part of that, right? And so I'm sure that you're going to have just a feast, for lack of a better word.
Do you want to know what his first son's name is?
What's his first son's name?
Draco.
Draco. Fuck. Draco. You guys know what a Draco is, right? Yeah, that's anyway.
Yeah.
All right, this is just a quick update on NBA Youngboy. Just remember, if you have a felony, firearms are your kryptonite. You don't need them. Pay more attention on why you would need them to begin with. I mean, if you're going to stay in the drug trade, I suppose you need them. And what's a big deal if you're dealing large amounts of dope? What's a gun case, right? And if you're going to kill somebody, what's a gun case? I get it. But if you want to stay out of prison, guns are your kryptonite if you don't have, the legal means to possess them. This is 5 years mandatory minimum if you have a felony. Mandatory minimum in most states. And then it goes up from there. You use in the commission of a crime, 10-year mandatory minimum federally. You kill somebody with it, and that's all consecutive. There's a thing called 924C. That's a 18 U.S. Code 924C. That's a mandatory minimum sentence, consecutive, where a firearm is used in another crime. So that's what I got for you. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Sign up for Patreon. And we'll see you. Oh, make sure you will go to clrbrucerivers.com because we have a merch store, don't we, Michael?
Yes, we do. clrbrucerivers.com. Go there. The hoodies are on their way. Shout out to Lauren. Shout out to Tony. Shout out to Nick. Shout out to everybody that worked hard on these. Thank you to the fans. And Bruce, Dad.
Right, we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That